Hey y'all,
I'm John.
and I'm Kim. Thanks for joining us for another episode of Magnolia Peach Tea Podcast, where we share real life stories to help you navigate life's ups and downs.
Be sure to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok for updates.
Now let's get to the tea. Hey y'all.
Hey,
Today's episode is entitled College Days.
good old college days.
Yeah. So
Yes.
we both went to University of Southwestern Louisiana, USL.
Yes.
USL. It's now called University of Louisiana at Lafayette, UL. But that's where we first started our college careers. And
Careers is a good description.
Yeah,
Careers.
Yeah, and I do say careers.
Yes. Now, was UL or USL at the time? Was that your first college choice?
It was, I really didn't want to go to college.
Really?
Truth be told, yeah. Long story, I'll make it short. I was in the Upward Bound program.
I
So
remember.
for those who don't know, Upward Bound is a program that is started in I think it's like junior year of high school, where they help you or work with you to kind of take those beginner college courses like your English, your math, and kind of get through those. They also help with your tuition, of course, for those who are financially struggling to go to school. And they kind of help you kind of get your foot in the door in college and kind of give you that boost to get you where you need to be. So I was in that program. And so that's how I got into USL. But I was not, I don't know. I was not like, oh, I'm going to Southern or I'm going to LSU or any of that. I was just like, oh, I can go here on the weekends. They'll take me, away from the house on the weekends.
Right. Well, yeah, UL was not my first choice. I actually had applied to Xavier. And I actually got into Xavier. I remember I got my letter. I was so excited. And Mom was like, where's that? That's in New Orleans? No, ma'am. No, ma'am. You need to look at something a little closer.
Oh,
And I was heartbroken. And I'm like, so I can't go to where I got accepted? And she was like, no, you can't be away. You can't be that far away from home.
Yeah, that was far though.
Right. And it was New Orleans.
Yeah.
Remember, we country come to town, right? So going to New Orleans
That
from
would've
where we're
been-
from, that was the big city.
Honey.
Yeah, I'd have been like Mary Tyler Moore, like throwing my hat up in the street. But I was not able to go to my first choice. So I did apply to USL and I got in and I was like, am I going to be able to stay on campus? Because, I wanted to live the college life, be away from home and stuff.
Yeah.
And again, my mom was like, no, ma'am, you will come home every day. You will go to school.
Were you driving?
Not my freshman year. I wasn't driving.
How you were getting they were driving?
Remember,
you? I don't
remember
remember.
our auntie was
you
working
did.
in Lafayette. So I would
Yes,
ride with her to work and then kind of just hung around until she got off of work and then came back home and we did that Monday through Friday. And I was just so disappointed. I was like, this is not the college experience I thought I was going to get. It is what it is. For us financially, it was not feasible for us to go to college and have our parents be able to afford it. So, we relied on good old Pell Grants,
assistance.
Good old student loans to go to school. Now, I'm not going to say that I was the best student.
What was your major?
Oh, so I started out majoring in accounting.
I remember that. Okay.
And I was like, I was going to be an accountant. I knew I was going to get a job in a big building. I was going to work on the top floor. I was going to have an office window, a office with a window, and I was going to be one of those top accountants, right? No, ma'am. I was like, wait a minute. This thing called Math 105 kicked my butt. I
think Math 105 at USL kicked everybody's butt. Yeah.
So then I also took a psychology class. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, this is interesting. Mm-hmm. I'm going to change my major to psychology. That's what I'm going to do. Mm-mm. I don't know nothing about psychology other than that one class that I took, but that was my major. Mm-hmm. Then I said, oh no, I'm going to go into education. No, I'm not going to do that
Can't
either.
do kids. You don't like kids.
I don't say I don't like kids. Well, I mean, I like the kids that's in my life. I like other people's kids. But like, yeah, I changed my major several times.
I'm glad I can't see you as a teacher.
No, I can't see myself as a teacher either. So yeah, I did change my major several times, but I didn't graduate in none of that. Not near one of them.
Well, I know, like I said, USO wasn't my first choice. I don't really think I had a plan. I was just winging it. I was just going with the flow. Mm-hmm. And then when I did get to USL, I went through the Upward Bound program, and nursing.
You had a ball in that.
Nursing was my major. And what I tell you, we had a time in Upward Bound, honey.
It's like what happens in Upward Bound, stay in Upward Bounds during them summers.
Oh my goodness. That was like, I swear, that was like one of the best times of my life. That's how I met my husband. I mean, lifelong friends, lifelong friends, and people that I don't think I would have ever come across had I not been in Upward Bound, or I've been put in that position. So I'm definitely.
You had people in your wedding that you met in Upward Bound who. They were nurses. Was she the one who got you here in Georgia? Mm-mm. Oh, no. Okay.
No.
Yeah, but
yeah, I mean, just a very good experience. And now, don't get me wrong. Now, I mean, it was a lot of work. We did do work, and I think it was a very beneficial program for someone entering college and, getting a good understanding of the college life as it relates to academics. Now, the extracurricular activities as it relates to it, yeah, we probably shouldn't have been doing 95% of the stuff that we were doing. But there is a God, and he is forgiving, and I thank him for that.
I remember being there and like, Mom's coming to get you. You need to be at the dorm. How long I got? Girl, you better hook it because she is moving.
Well, I mean, because, so we were it was like a group of people who were all friends. Like all of my girls were friends with this group of guys. And I mean, some people were couples and, others weren't, but we were all kind of close friends. So we all hung out together. So nobody really stayed in the dorm. I mean, we had rooms in the dorm, but
ain't nobody
was really staying in the dorms. So, I mean, on the weekends, you would see people at the dorms when their parents came to pick them up, or if they had to come do laundry or something.
Girl, I ain't seen you all week.
Yeah, that's it. But, I mean, most of the time you find us either at the community apartment or at the union. Yeah. I mean, that's Union 101, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Exactly. Now, so, I started at USL. Now, I didn't finish there. So we talked about my majors, right? So that was some of my majors, but then I met some friends, right? And my friends were always at the union. Now they I ain't never seen them in class, but anyway,
I don't think we had friends that really were not students.
You're right. So I really wouldn't know. So I had this one friend who was like, he would always play pool, and I thought was fascinated about, playing pool. So he showed me how to play pool. And then, people would come up and be like, what a girl doing playing pool, whatever. And then he'd be like, why don't you play her and see?
Y'all were hustling people.
Baby, we was hustling, making money every day playing pool. I mean, we had a strategy. He was like, missed the first couple of shots, missed the break. And then when they, start talking noise, you come back and just rack on it. And that's exactly what we did. And we was like, pay up. And that started going, I mean, I would get there at 8:00 in the morning and play pool until 4:00 in the afternoon, forgetting to go to class. And then, the college life, ain't nobody forcing you to go to class, which was an issue in itself. I'm like, so how I'm supposed to remember how to do all this stuff? Yeah. But yeah, I majored in pool hall 101, and I was good at it.
Yeah, that's where I learned how to play spades. I learned how to play spades at USL. Dominoes, spades. They played a little bit of pool, but spades was really, really big. Really, really big.
Yeah. But I remember like orientation and stuff. I was like, oh my goodness. Because again, let's talk about, we from a small town, not very many people. So I go to UL or USL and I see all of these people. We all going to the same school. And it was a little bit overwhelming for me.
It was. I think for me, navigating
finding
the
classes, yes. And I was like, so I just can't walk down this one hall and get to all my classes like in high school. We only had like 3 halls maybe, but like I'm like I got to go to all these different buildings, and then in the rain too.
Yeah. If you late, you tardy, they don't care.
Let's talk about, okay, so you go to first day of class, right? They give you the syllabus. They give you this whole plan. Oh, so on August 10th is the test?
So I don't have to come back?
So I don't have to come back? Y'all don't take roll? Like, ain't nobody, I'm looking around, then we ain't got to sign no paper or nothing. So you don't
call
know
names or nothing.
If I'm actually there. Oh, all right. Yeah, I think I probably went to every class the first week of the semester. And then after that, I needed the syllabus because I needed to know what I needed to do when I needed a test or what paper I had to turn in, what book I had to read or X, Y, and Z. And honestly, I probably didn't even do 50% of it because I was at the pool hall playing the pool.
Girl, it was bad. It was bad for me. It was once where I kind of skipped like a couple of weeks ago into class, but I made it for that test day. And I don't know what I was thinking. I don't even know why I went for the test because I didn't study the material that was going to be on the test.
I didn't even know.
Went in there for the test, and when I tell you I wrote a dissertation on the back of that test, asking the professor to please give me another chance that I really wasn't prepared, and if I could maybe take the test at a later date. I was like, and I think back to this day, Kim, did you really write that? And I did. I'm like, come on.
What was the professor response?
F.
Yeah.
F.
Yeah.
But Forget it.
But then, I don't know if they still do this, but back then, they used to mail your grades in. So now we run it to the mailbox trying to get the mail so that they don't see. And then they put this thing called academic probation on me, and I'm like, what? I was at that school every day.
Academic probation, honey.
Probation. I was like, wow. Okay.
No tuition, and you had to pass a certain number of credits or classes in order to get off of probation.
That's when I came home and I told Mama,
I don't think this is for me.
It's for me. I'm just gonna go and get a job because at that time they had given me a car, so I was going to college, right? And this car dealership was at the union, and people was doing applications and stuff. So I said, well, let me do an application. And the man said, oh, you've been approved. And I said, for what?
For a
and
car?
He said, car.
Sean, did you have a job?
Girl, I didn't have a job. Not job one. That was the first question Mama said. How you gonna pay for a car? You ain't got no job. I said, well, I'm gonna get a job because I got the car. We gotta go pick it up. I got a car, And when I say I got a car with no job. The car had no air conditioning, no power windows because that was extra. I was already on the budget. I didn't want to push it.
Budget? Girl, you didn't have no.
But I didn't want to push it because I still had to pay the car note, and I needed to get a job to pay the car note and stuff. And then Mama was like, "You gotta pay insurance." I said, "Insurance? Yeah." So that was the end of my USL life. Was after I got the car.
So you had to quit to pay for the car.
I had to get a job to pay for the car. So I was like, okay, then, well, I got a job and I, pay for the car and stuff.
Had Discover hit you up by then?
No. The funny thing about it is I qualified for the car, but I was denied.
Girl, Discover was making some money on all of us.
Right?
All of us. Discover was like, oh, you're a college student? Oh, why don't you go ahead and add your tuition, the money that you get from your tuition, go ahead and add that as income on your credit card application, and we'll go ahead and give you a card.
Right.
Everybody got cards. Everybody went to the mall. And I'm like, that was not that. First of all, I blame USL, because I don't think USL should have allowed these credit card companies to come on campus to give us these cards under poor financial advisement. I mean, there is no way that they should be giving 18-year-olds credit cards.
Right.
With no jobs.
No job. Or
you got a work study job.
At the library. 2 hours a day.
$3.75 an hour.
Right.
What am I gonna do with that?
Pay your Discover bill. That's what you're gonna do, is pay your Discover bill.
But USL was the life. I mean, dorm life. It was cool. I mean, you got to meet a lot of different people.
Now you stayed in a dorm a whole lot more semesters than I did. I only stayed in a dorm one semester, and it was hell for me.
Why was it hell, John?
I didn't like my roommate. I didn't like her at all.
Was it someone you knew?
Nope. It was
one
some
of the
girl
random
from Gonzales. I didn't like her at all. She overtook the whole room. Like I had just my little itty bitty space.
Which dorms were you in?
I don't even, one of the tower ones. I don't remember the name of it. But like she was there
really wasn't much space in those. I mean,
it wasn't, but she had a lot of,
it was a divided room though.
Yeah, she had a lot of stuff. And I'm like, I'm sitting there, I came there with my one little bag and my refrigerator.
Your trunk.
Right. And that was it. But she came, like she kept coming in with stuff. And I'm like, where's she putting all this? Where's she gonna put all of this?
Were you by the window or the door?
No, I was by the door, because my OCD was like, if something happened, I got to get out. I cannot be tripping over her stuff trying to get out.
Yeah, I was by the door. When I was in the towers, I was by the door. Now, the real cush dorm was the one that was on University. I can't even think of the name.
I know what you're talking about.
But we were down in the
one.
basement. Yeah, girl, it was like 3 of us to the room. Me, my girl Danielle, Victoria. Man, that was nice. Now, going to the bathroom, that was a little creepy.
Right. But that was another thing. I think that's probably when my OCD really showed up.
Shared bathrooms.
Because that bad shared bathroom, I'm like, these heifers is nasty. I cannot. Like, I just was not. But dorm life was not me. She was very free-spirited. She was giving a lot of stuff away to a lot of people. And they kept coming in and out of the room. And I'm like, what?
This not the same person.
This ain't, dorm life. Though, in the dorm was the first time I got drunk. She used to work at the pizza place.
I remember that.
It was like this little
I think it's still open, I swear.
So. This little Italian pizza place right off of campus. So we walked there because she had to work a couple of hours. So we walked there. We had pizza, and she was bringing us pictures of beer. Now, nobody checked no IDs, but hey, that was 1993.
And I think the drinking age may have been
18 back then. But I don't know how many pitchers of beer we had. But we had to walk back I do not remember the walk back to the dorm. But I remember in that elevator, when that door opened, all that beer said hello. And I was like, yeah, this ain't me. This ain't for me. Let me go back home.
But it was an interesting time in our lives. I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't do it differently.
No, I mean, it was an experience.
Yeah.
Life is about experience.
Yeah, it definitely made us who we are today. Yeah. And we probably wouldn't have met half the people that we know now without being open to that experience.
Right.
So I think that kind of allowed us an opportunity to kind of
revisit and revise.
Yes, indeed, girl. And revise it real quick.
Right.
Real quick. Once you got into this real world and said, okay, I might need to do something with my life. Because
I ain't about this time clock stuff. Yeah. So then, now, okay, for me, okay, I got the car, right? So I gotta work because mama and daddy is not paying for nothing, right? So I gotta work. But I'm realizing in me working, I still need a college education in order to get to where I want to get, right? But like, how you do that when I still got to pay for the car, the insurance,
FICA.
Let's not talk about all them and them people taking all this money out of my check. Like, how do I do all of that and still be a full-time college student? Because that's the only way you could. And back then, you could have qualified for financial aid as a full-time college student.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, I don't know how I'm going to do this. So it was years before I went back to school.
But you went back and got your certification for
right, because
certified nursing.
When our little town shut down because the plant shut down, they afforded us the opportunity to go to school and get a trade. And I honestly thought, nursing may have been something, that I would want to do. So I was like, well, let me go ahead and get my CNA, become a CNA. So I did all the classes and I got the little graduation and I got the jobs and stuff. And I think we talked about this earlier. Mr. John, I put him in the bed. And he didn't want to be in the bed, and he hauled off and hit me so hard my contact popped out my eye. I said, nope, this is not for me. I quit that night. I was like, I'm not doing it. That man, I almost lost it. That man is old. He don't know where his mind is, but he hauled off and socked me in the eye when I'm just trying to help him. This is not for me. So I did end up going back to school. And then, again, when you become an adult and you have adult responsibilities, because by this time I was married. So like, I can't, unfortunately, I wasn't afforded the opportunity to stop working and go to school. I still had to do it all. I had to go to school. I had to work full time. I had to make sure the house was taken care of, the bills was paid. I was a stepmom, making sure they were good when they were with us, or even when they weren't with us and stuff like that. But it was like a lot. And I was like, okay, I can't go work 8, 9, 10 hours a day and then go to school and sit in somebody's class. So now I had to, okay, what's my opportunities? By that time, online schools were coming up and popping. I found an online school and I was like, this is it. So I was able to work and do schoolwork between calls. So I was able to do all of that and then get my degree.
Yeah.
And then I became a manager and,
Yeah.
But like life, when it happens, when you get out of the, not so much teenage, let's say young adult age, young adult, no responsibility. Going to school or going back to school is a struggle. Some people, have kids, some people, responsibilities. You got an apartment now. You're not living with mom and dad anymore. You got an apartment. So you got to pay rent. You got to pay the light bill. Again, you got a car that, you got to pay for, so you just can't, not everybody, because I know your story is different, but not everybody can afford that opportunity to work part-time or put a little halt in the employment so you can go to school. And it's difficult. And if I have one thing to tell young people, do it while you're young.
Yes.
I take full responsibility. I messed around.
Same here.
At least 2 years of my college UL life. Here. And I was like, I don't know nothing. Like the only thing I
knew a lot of stuff. I knew all the club songs. I knew how to get to the club, what time they closed.
Baby, all I knew
with the drinks.
Was how to hustle these people with this pool and make them think that I don't know what I'm doing so I can rack up on them and get this money. But like, get it. When you get out of high school, if college is something, or even before you get out of high school, determine if college is something that you want to do, go ahead and do it now before you get all these responsibilities and then life happens. It's hard. It's hard. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's hard. And I know your story is a little bit different.
Yeah.
But we had two different,
Yeah. So I actually, after UL got married, it was not the plan. The plan was to finish school first and then get married. But, when my husband presented it, this probably was playing E or F. I mean, because we had done been through A, B, C, and D. So this is E and F. So, okay, yeah, this is one we're going to go with. So, got married and then was working for the, what is it called?
Manufacturing plant.
Yeah, manufacturing plant. And ended up getting a call got a letter from the technical school. Don't even remember applying to the technical school. I tell you, this must have been while I was in high school or something. But there was a waiting list for the program that I signed up for. And they were like, we have a seat available for you. I was like, well, all right, then. Let's go. Let's go. And I quit Martin Mill immediately, went back to school. That was like a 16-month program. Went through that, had the pleasure of not working. I don't know if that was a pleasure because it was a struggle, but you know, my husband wanted me to be able to focus on my schoolwork solely while he worked full time. And then he went to school full time as well. But it was a struggle. I mean, I don't recommend it to anyone. I agree with you when you say if you're going to go back to school or if you're going to do school as a young adult, then do it as soon as possible before you have all the responsibilities of rent, car note, insurance, car insurance, health insurance, or anything like that. Yeah, children or anything like that. Because once those responsibilities start to add up, it can become difficult. Not to say that it's impossible. It is possible, but it becomes more challenging for you.
Exactly.
So I was able to go through that. I did well. From then kind of hopped over and just kind of advanced, you know, my career up and up and up until I got my bachelor's. And thank God I was able to kind of finish what I started at formerly USL and graduated. It felt good. You know, I went the online route for a couple of the courses that I took. Went online and was much better and I guess much focused as an older adult. I don't know if it was because I was paying for it again.
Exactly.
You know, through student loans or whatnot, having to pay for it again. But I was more focused and took that psych class for the third time and passed with an A. So was very, very happy about, you know, that accomplishment. Would I do it all again the same way? I probably would.
Yeah, because it's like you said before, you know, even the time when we were kind of like playing around, it still taught us those life lessons, you know, about, and I mean, in us having fun and doing stuff, it's all a lesson. You learn those lessons, good or bad. You know, you learn things that will take you further in life or things that you can pass on to others regarding,
like gin and orange juice is really not your friend.
Right.
You know, regardless of whether it's free until midnight. I mean,
pitchers of beer, don't do it and then have to walk all the way back home and then take an elevator. I want to say I was like on the 5th or 7th floor. So it was a bit of a ride. And when that elevator stopped and them doors opened, that beer said, hello. And I looked at it and I walked on by.
So definitely a good experience. Very good experience. And I would do it all again.
Yeah. Do it again, but like finish.
Finish
earlier.
I'll do it again now.
Because I think about like where would my career be today had I finished school the first time, got my degree, and then went into business, or even if I stayed with accounting, which probably would not have happened, but you know, just kind of stayed the course and seen, you know, what would my life be like today? I probably wouldn't have met my husband.
I don't think you would be right here right now. I think your life would have taken you on a different path.
I think so too. But it's okay though. And the one thing about it though is, you know, like I said, I had this vision of working for this bank and being in accounting and having this office with the window.
Guess what?
I work indirectly for a bank, and guess what my office is? In front of a window. It's a window at my house, but it's a window. So, you know, God had his own plan. You know, it worked itself out. It's just, it wasn't what I thought it was going to be, but it worked out. So it's all right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But college days,
I wouldn't trade them.
I wouldn't either.
Nope. I wouldn't trade them for the world.
Thanks everyone for listening today. We hope you enjoyed.
Be sure to tune in for the next episode of Magnolia Peach Tea Podcast.